How's it going? Doing a video on the Daggerr insert for the KeyBar. I picked this Daggerr insert up directly from Daggerr. I went on their website. If you don't know how to read Russian, you go to the top of the website, you click on the little American flag, and it changes everything into English. For those who don't know, it gives you the English prices, tells you how much everything costs, tells you it costs $5 for shipping when you go into checkout. Unfortunately, when you get to checkout, everything goes back to Russian, and the currency changes from a US dollar to rubles. It gives you some astronomical number if you're just buying one item, like 2,300 and some odd dollars, but it's not dollars, it's actually rubles. So don't be afraid, it's actually US currency. It's actually, I'm sorry, ruble currency, but if you take that number and put 2,000 whatever rubles to US currency, you'll get the exact amount that you're supposed to get. It deters a lot of people because they're at a site, it's foreign, they don't understand it. You're paying for something in foreign currency, but it's actually the correct amount, and that's just how you have to do it when you're buying stuff from overseas. But when you're all done with that and you finally receive your product, which I bought the shark blade because I didn't like what there were a couple places selling these in the US, but they only had the Daggerr style blade, which I don't like. I like the way this one looks, or the Bowie knife one. I chose the shark. I might end up ordering the Bowie knife a little bit later, but I like what I received. I'm pretty impressed with it. It looks really good. This depends on the blade stop to stop it when it's fully opened, and it doesn't depend on that to close it. What it's depending on after it's closed, as you see, it's not touching. It depends on the 2 plastic washers that they include in the kit to stop the knife, which it does if you line it up correctly. What I found is 2 metal washers, then the 2 plastic washers, puts the blade right in the middle, and then on this side, 1 washer in between the blade and the slab, and it works fine. It lines up good inside when it's closed. You can see the blade right there, pretty good. You're not going to cut yourself. You can feel the blade if you push your thumb in the crevice, but you have to push your thumb your finger in there to feel the blade. But on a normal touch, you're not going to feel it. You can rub all day long and you're not going to cut yourself. So just be aware of that. It just with any knife, that's a common thing, but who's going to keep shoving their finger in between the slabs, you know? But it's pretty good and pretty safe. The only thing that I noticed about the this between the AG design, where AG uses the studs, but when you open the AG design, the way the studs are, they're bigger, they're textured, and the way it's designed, when it opens, it comes to a dead stop. It has no play at all. It's done. That's it. It's giving you everything. When you mess around with the design of this, when you open it up, it comes to a stop. You hear the stop, but if you look close, once you hear that stop and you push a little bit more, it gives a little bit. It gives just an ever slightly little bit. It just throws the blade back a little bit more. It stops there, and then it's got that little bit. You saw the blade move just a little bit more, and it's still straight and everything, but it kind of gives it a little bit of upsweep. And I think that's just the play in the hole that's gone through the bolts. And what also adds to that is the blade stop is smooth. So when it hits, see, it's touching right there, but see how it touches, but it's still sliding, and it gets a little bit of play because it doesn't have a texture and it's smooth. It's just riding along the also when it closes, it rides, it scrapes a little bit. You can feel it touching, and then it goes loose here. But oddly enough, when you open it, it doesn't touch. When you open it, maybe it's because of the pressure you're pushing it away. It doesn't touch at all on the opening. But on the closing, you can feel it rubbing the KeyBar, as it closes, just in this area right here. It's not leaving a mark or anything, but you feel the pivot, or not the pivot, the bolt sliding along there, the blade stop. And like I said, you can almost see, it almost looks like it's giving, yeah, you can see where it's rubbing a little bit, it's shining it up. But yeah, it rubs a little bit there, and it has that ever so slightly, a little bit of more of a, and that's just the complete stop. And once it gets there, it's going nowhere. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. There is that little bit of give in there after it touches, it slides a little bit more. Also, to bring what's worth noting is this is my first KeyBar ever. I bought this with the intent to put it on this newer KeyBar that has a laser engraving, more defined. This is the newer style KeyBar. This one was when I got this in a wax pack. I got this one in a metal tin. There's a little bit of design change, and the only reason I know that is because this knife doesn't work on this KeyBar. When you put this knife on this KeyBar, the blade sits like this. It's at an upward angle. This is smaller. They've cut material off of here, and when you go to use it, the KeyBar, the blade sits like this rather than sitting straight. I don't know what KeyBar did, but I do know that the older design, it works. And if you put it on this one, the blade sits like this. It literally sweeps up like that, and it looks stupid. I was a little upset when I bought this blade and I originally put it on this. I was like, wow, this is way off. I was like, something ain't right. And then I was like, well, I have my older KeyBar. Let me take all my keys off, which I took all these keys and this setup was on this KeyBar. But to make this knife work, I had to pull everything off, put it on the newer one, and put the knife on the older one, and it works perfectly. But I will say that is worth noting that for some reason, this blade doesn't work on the newer style KeyBar. I don't know. I'm assuming, and assumptions are for idiots, but there's a design difference between these two KeyBars. This is a lot smaller than this one. And it is not, you may not visually see it, but you can see it when you put that blade on there, because this blade stop ends like all the way down here, and the blade's angled like it's like a real bad cant. It looks pretty stupid, actually. The blade is sitting like all the way up like that. Don't know what's going on there, but that is worth noting that it seems to work with the Generation 1 KeyBars, or the older style KeyBars. I don't know why there's a flaw. Maybe there's a flaw in this KeyBar, but I haven't bought any. The only other newer one I bought is this one, but that has the AG knife on it, which I put on there, and I didn't have a problem with that one. That seems to fit straight and flush. So, but this one came in a tin, this one came in a tin, this came in a wax pack. So I don't know if there's a size difference between the wax pack and the tin, but that is something to keep note, that this knife does not work with this knife insert does not work with the newer wax pack KeyBars. That's just something that's worth noting. If you need me to make a video later on to show you, I will. I will take both of these apart, put them together, but yeah, it's way off. It doesn't line up. It's not correct. But other than that, I am satisfied with the product. Happy that I had an older KeyBar to put it on to make it work the way it's supposed to. Dagger's a great company. It does take a little bit of time to get it directly from them, but you will be satisfied with what you get in the end. That is it, guys. Take it easy.